Hello everyone and welcome to Crafts by the Bow. Today I'm going to be using one of the stamp sets from the new Occasions catalogue, and it's one of those sets where you can buy the punch and the paper, stamps, whatever, and if you spend $60 Canadian you can get a free item, one of the celebration items. So a couple of weeks ago I asked on one of my videos which stamp set people would like me to use, and Jane Scott asked me if I would use the 9 Lives set. So here you are, Jane, this is just for you. Let's pop those over to one side because we don't need those at the moment. What I am going to make is a waterfall card, and I've made lots of waterfall cards before, and I've usually made them so that they stand up. But this time I'm going to make it so it's a flat card, and you can still stand it up sort of against the mantelpiece or on the table against a lamp or something. But it's just a little bit quicker to make than having the folded card. And I've used the measurements and things from Dawn Griffin on her Stampin' Thoughts, dawnstampinthoughts.net. So let's get started and I'll show you how these work. There's always a little piece of ribbon or a pull tab that you use to pull the pictures over, almost like a waterfall. Okay, so this is how ours is going to work as well. This is a Valentine's card I made quite a long while ago. I think these might have been some paper pumpkin stamps, but the paper definitely isn't paper pumpkin. The ribbon was, but I think I made it maybe 3 years ago for my husband for Valentine's, and so I'm not going to show you the inside. Okay, so the first things we need is your piece of main card, which is your backing piece, and this will be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I've chosen black for mine. And in black I've also cut 4 small squares at 2 inches by 2 inches, and I've cut a strip. This is the strip that goes across the card, and I've cut that at 1 inch by 4 1/4. And then with some white card, I've made 2 pieces which are for like the back, and it's 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. And then I've made 4 small squares that are 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. In fact, I don't think I used 2 pieces of the white card. I think I only used 1 so far. So one's for the back, one's for the front. Okay, so let's pop these out of the way. And then I also had a strip of paper, which is a long piece of Whisper White. I've used the thinner Whisper White. I didn't use the thick cardstock because I find sometimes that's hard to pull through the little mechanism. So this is just simply 1 7/8 by 9, and I've scored it. I scored it at 2, 2 3/4, 3 1/2, and 4 1/2. Well, let's get to assembling. So first of all, we're going to put the DSP on the back, and you can use DSP or you can use another piece of card, and this would need to be cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And we're just going to adhere it here so it's got a small border. Just find my tape. You could, this is the gingham gala paper. You could use any paper. Oh, and that's the end of the fast fuse. Okay. I see it's going to be one of those sessions. So let's get some liquid glue out. This doesn't want to come out either. Oh, we're going to have one of those days. Let's see. I've got enough glue on there just to pop that on, and then I'll just get a refill for the fast fuse. So excuse me for 1 second. Okay, I'm back. You never know quite when these things are going to run out, but you can bet your life it's always when you just started a video. I didn't get the refill, I got the next new one out. Let's see, that could do with a little bit more glue there. Okay, so there we go. And then on top of here, you're going to need your mechanism, this little part here. Now on the first one that I was making, I put a piece of white over here and then did the mechanism. But on this one, I think I'm just going to leave the paper because otherwise you don't get to see much of the paper. So that's why I was saying, oh, you can cut two, but I only used one. So I'm going to leave this one just with the gingham gala paper on. And we're going to get our long strip, and I'm just folding over where those score lines are. And what I did was I folded it so that I had the first square and the first of the smaller little rectangles showing. And I stamped one of the sentiments, let's just see, one of the sentiments from here, the one that says, "A friend like you comes around once in 9 lives." And then I stamped the cat. And this, when we pull this through the mechanism, you'll then start to see the sentiment and the stamping. Whereas on the other one that I'd done, I didn't write anything on the black. So as it pulls through, that's where you'll see this piece coming through. And as I said, I lined this up just by using the first square and the very first rectangle that we'd scored, so that I knew it would come right through and people would be able to see it. If you stamp it too far up, they won't read it because you'll still have a picture covering half of it. Okay. So we're going to start to put our squares on. Now, what you do with the white squares is you stamp on them whatever you want. And I've stamped 4 different little pictures. I've stamped the cat, he doesn't fit totally on there. The little bowl with some fish, the cat again but just peeping out of the corner, and a piece that says, "You're the cat's meow." Now this is the piece that I want as the last piece that people will see. So I'm going to attach that to the black, and that's going to be the first piece that I put onto my waterfall mechanism. And when you do it, you need just a little bit of tape at the top. You can use, you know, like your tear and tape, or you could use liquid glue, but just for speed here, I'm using my fast fuse. And it goes onto this square. This square will be just slightly smaller than our black one, so you won't see it. And I lined mine up just with where the score line fold is. So that will be my last picture. And then we're going to go from the last picture up to the first, if that makes sense. Then I'm going to get my next one, just adhere it to my black. And you can see I've coloured a few of these little bits in, just because I think that'll look nicer on the card. Okay, and again, you only need glue at the very top. And I want it's not like I want my cat to be that way. I want him to look as though he's peeping around the corner. So, and again, I'm going to line it up with where this score line and fold is, and also with the piece that's underneath, just to make sure that they're level. And I haven't got one over here a bit more than the other. Okay, then I'm going to pull the card down once more, and I'm going to put this one on next. It's a very cute little set, this, and I think I might make the same kind of a card, but with the dog one that I've bought as well, and that's got a punch too. And it's one of those that if you got the stamps and the punch and maybe a pack of card or some glue and some envelopes, you would have $60 Canadian. So that would be enough for a celebration item. And then you can get free paper, free stamps. So you don't need too much. I think the dog stamp set and the punch together, because they've got 10% off as well, I think it works out about $45, $46. So then you only need another $14, $15. You don't need to spend much more, and you've got your free gift. Okay, so this is the very last one I'm putting on, and this is the first one we'll see on the card. So there we go. Okay, so as we pull the bottom piece down, see how those will move. Cute. Okay, so now with our black piece, I'm going to put tape on the two short sides, and then we're going to adhere it over here. So I'm trying to use up this Sukwang tape, so I'm going to use this. You could use tear and tape, and I would if it's an option, because as you know, I don't really like this Sukwang tape. It's a bit tough, and it's very difficult. If you do make a mistake and you want to peel it off, it tends to tear the paper off easily. Even if you use something like a dental floss to go behind the tape and get it off, if it's been on there a little while, it doesn't want to move. Okay, so this piece, you adhere about 3/4 of the way down, and because I've got the gingham gala paper on it, I'm just going to line it up with that. When I did the card that opened, I put brads through it, but it makes the card a little bit more bulky, and if you're posting it, you don't want to have too many brads sticking through, because you can be sure they'll come right through the envelope. Okay, so you can see that's got like a little gap through it, which is where we'll put the little mechanism. Okay. Before I put that in, I'm going to punch a little piece out here, so that's where people will put their fingers to take out the little mechanism. And I'm just using my 1 1/4 inch punch and just punching about not quite a half of the circle. Okay, and then we'll repeat that on the back in a few minutes. Okay, so I know, I'm just going to check again. I know that this is going to fit in here. Yep. And I only want a little bit showing at the top, like that. So to adhere it, instead of gluing the whole thing on there, let me just pop that back in again. Instead of gluing the whole thing in, we just put a little bit of tape so that it's under here, and sort of it rests on the black piece, and it will be this very bottom one that rests on there. So once you've got it lined up, we'll just put a little piece of tape across there, and this will stick on there, so that as you pull this through, it holds the mechanism in place. So we'll just pop a little bit across the middle here. And you don't need much, it's just enough to hold that last little square down. But do spend a little bit of time just measuring and making sure your piece is straight. I think I like it like that. And then you can just press it down. I found it easier not to put the adhesive on the last square itself, because sometimes you would have a little bit of glue that wasn't adhered to the strip that goes across the card, and then you end up sticking to this little piece here. Can you see how when we pull that, the waterfall is going to happen? And then people only need to just push it back. Okay. Now I'm going to do my ones on the back, and again I'm going to put my DSP on, and this could be card if you wanted it to be. I'll just pop that on there, And then the one piece of card that I am using for the back, I just stamped the cat on it again, and I'm going to adhere that. I didn't stamp the cat all the way at the bottom, just because when I'm going to cut the little thumb tab out, I didn't want to cut his paws off. Okay, so I'm just going to move this up out of the way a moment, just to show you. See, this is the little piece showing through from the back. I'm just going to cut with my punch again, so that I know it's in the same place, and then I'm just going to pop that back down there. Okay, so let's check and just pull, and there it is, they're all open. Now what you can do is on this little piece, if you didn't have your picture right down at the bottom, you could write the word pull, or I'm going to put a little piece of ribbon on. And so let's take some of the celebration ribbon. I'm just going to cut a tiny piece, and then what I'll do is just get my stapler out, and I'm actually going to put it onto the back here. So I didn't want it on the little pussycat's paws, so I'm going to just staple it at the back, and then I can pull it through like this. If you want any other kind of decoration on, whereas here I had the brads, you could put little rhinestones here or pearls on, and the same on the DSP. Depends how busy your DSP is. But that's my little card for today, my little waterfall card. Lots of room to write on the back, and I think that's a cute little card. So I hope you like that, and Jane, I hope you liked seeing what I made with the 9 Lives set. And next time I'm making another card with the 9 Lives set, and I'll see you all again soon. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.